If you're a man over 65 and you feel like your memory just isn't what it used to be, you're forgetting names, you walk into a room and can't for the life of you remember why, then I need you to listen to me very, very closely. Because what I'm about to reveal today could potentially give you back 20 years of mental clarity. Just 3 months ago, a woman named Carmen walked into my office, shuffling her feet, looking at me with those tired, clouded eyes I've seen on hundreds of patients before. "Doctor, I can't do this anymore," she told me, her voice trembling slightly. "I forget everything. My family, they think I'm losing my mind." And right then and there, I knew I had to share this secret, a method that has already transformed the lives of so many patients just like her. I'm Dr. Olivia Grant, a neurologist with over 20 years of experience dedicated to treating older adults. And after decades of observing mental decline in my patients, I stumbled upon something that completely changed my understanding of aging. Most people, and maybe you're one of them, believe that losing your memory is inevitable, that it's just a natural part of getting older. But that is a flat-out lie. A dangerous myth that has condemned millions of seniors to live in a perpetual state of mental fog. Let me tell you something that might shock you. In my practice, I've seen men and women in their 90s with minds sharper and more agile than many people in their 40s. Do you know what the difference is? It's not genetics. It's not luck. It's something much, much simpler. It's something anyone can do while sitting in their favorite armchair, without any strenuous effort, without risks, and without any special equipment. You don't even need to stand up. When I was explaining this to Carmen, she cut me off. "But doctor," she insisted, "I eat healthy. I do crosswords every morning. I take my vitamins." And that, right there, is the core of the problem. What we've been told is good for the brain often isn't enough. You see, as the brain ages, it doesn't just need more information or more puzzles. It needs reactivation. It needs us to wake up the specific neural pathways that have been dormant for years, sometimes decades. A patient of mine, a retired engineer named Robert, couldn't believe it when I showed him the before and after results on his cognitive tests. His recall had improved by a staggering 40% in just 3 weeks. But the most astonishing part? The secret was in his feet. Yes, you heard me correctly. In his toes. It turns out there is a direct and powerful neurological connection between the intricate movements of your feet and your cerebellum, that incredible part of the brain at the back of your skull that controls not only your balance and coordination, but also your memory and attention. And this brings me to the crucial point of what I want to share with you today. There are 5 simple exercises that take exactly 1 minute. 1 single minute that could fundamentally change the rest of your life. Because while you're sitting there thinking it's too late, that your brain is past its prime, there are people your age right now reclaiming their mental sharpness with these exact movements. If you're finding this revelation insightful, just wait until you hear what's coming next. And by the way, if this is already hitting home for you, do me a favor and hit that like button. It helps more people find this information and lets me know we're on the right track. What I'm about to reveal now is the culmination of decades of clinical research, of treating thousands of patients, and of witnessing transformations that seemed at first almost impossible. You see, it's not your age. It was never about your age. It's about the lack of the right kind of stimulation. It's about letting the brain's lights dim slowly over time, without flipping the right switches to turn them back on. Carmen understood this within 2 weeks. 2 weeks was all it took for her daughter to call me, crying with joy. "Mom is back," she said. She's remembering stories from my childhood. She's actually joining in on conversations at dinner. It's like she's 20 years younger. But here's what's critically important to understand. Mental decline doesn't happen overnight. It's a silent, progressive creep. It starts with little signs we all tend to ignore. You struggle to find a common word. You forget why you walked into the kitchen. You find it hard to follow a long conversation. You just feel like you're not thinking with the same speed you used to. Maybe you chalk it up to stress or a bad night's sleep, but in reality, it's your brain sending out fatigue signals. This is a widespread issue. According to the CDC, about 1 in 9 adults aged 45 and older in the United States report experiencing subjective cognitive decline. It's common, but it doesn't have to be your destiny. I was sitting in Michael's den, the smell of old books and freshly brewed coffee in the air, when he showed me his journal. He had started a log of all his memory lapses. "Look, doctor," he said, his finger tracing the lines. "Yesterday, I forgot my grandson's name for a second. Today, I couldn't remember where I put the car keys. The more I write down, the more depressed I get." But I told him something that shifted his entire perspective. "Michael, your brain isn't broken. It's just asleep, and we can wake it up." Over time, without adequate and specific stimulation, certain areas of the brain begin to disconnect. The hippocampus, which is the command center for memory, slows down. The cerebellum's fine-tuning of coordination and balance becomes less precise. And crucially, blood circulation to the brain gradually diminishes. It's like a houseplant you forget to water. It doesn't die immediately, but it starts to wilt from the inside out. But the good news, and this is what I need you to truly grasp, is that just as a plant can flourish again with the right amount of water, your brain can be reactivated. It just needs a specific, consistent stimulus. And we're not talking about hours of grueling brain training or complex techniques. We're talking about 1 minute a day. Let me teach you the first exercise. It might seem strange, but it's grounded in powerful neurology. It's all about toe movements. Yes, I know what you're probably thinking. My toes? What in the world do my toes have to do with my memory? Well, the soles of your feet and your toes are packed with nerve endings that have a direct superhighway to your cerebellum. By moving them consciously and with intention, you are firing up neural pathways that have been underused for years. Ray Garcia, a 75-year-old veteran I treated, came into my office walking unsteadily. He was afraid to go out alone. His legs weren't weak, but his brain had lost that crisp connection to his body. I proposed this simple exercise. Move your toes every day for 1 minute. At first, he chuckled. "Moving my toes is going to help my memory?" he asked, skeptical. But he was willing to try anything. The exercise is this. Sit comfortably in a chair. Lift the toes of both feet at the same time, keeping your heels on the ground, and hold them up for 5 seconds. Then, lower them and press them firmly into the floor for another 5 seconds. Next, gently massage the floor with the tips of your toes, like you're trying to pick up sand, for 10 seconds. Finally, spread your toes as wide as you can, and then curl them tightly, repeating this for 10 more seconds. That's 30 seconds. Repeat it twice, and you've completed your minute. After 15 days, Ray came back. "Doc," he said, standing straighter, "I'm walking more steadily. I don't need to grab onto things as much. And the strangest thing is, my mind feels clearer, like someone turned up the lights inside my head." Research from leading neurological institutes has confirmed what Ray experienced. Older adults who practiced targeted foot and toe exercises showed significant improvements not just in their balance and coordination, but in their cognitive function and memory as well.
This leads me to the second exercise, one of the most vital, because it targets a problem that often goes completely unnoticed: poor circulation to the brain. When blood doesn't flow properly, the oxygen and nutrients your brain desperately needs can't get there in sufficient quantities. The result? A slower, foggier, less alert mind. What I discovered through my clinical work was even more revealing. Your neck acts as the critical bridge between your body and your brain. If that bridge becomes tense and stiff from stress, poor posture, or lack of movement, it narrows the passage for blood flow. It's like kinking a garden hose. The water just trickles through. While treating a patient named Isabel from Phoenix, she confessed something to me. "Doctor, my head feels heavy all day, like it's full of cotton." When I examined her neck, it was so rigid she could barely move it. I taught her this gentle neck movement exercise. You do it sitting up straight, with your shoulders relaxed. Just slowly turn your head to the right, as far as is comfortable without straining. Hold for a moment. Return to the center, and then do the same to the left. Next, gently tilt your head up, as if you're looking at the ceiling, and hold for a few seconds. Finally, slowly lower your head, bringing your chin toward your chest. The entire sequence, done with calm intention, takes only about 30 seconds. Isabel called me 2 weeks later. "Doctor, it's incredible. That heavy feeling is gone. I can think more clearly. Even my daughter noticed I'm speaking more fluently. When you unkink that hose, the blood flows, the oxygen arrives, and the brain responds." Now hold on, because the third exercise is, without a doubt, one of the most surprising. And while it might feel a little silly at first, its effects on verbal memory have been well documented. It involves moving your tongue in a specific way to activate areas of the brain related to language, verbal recall, and mental agility. A gentleman named Charles looked at me with pure skepticism when I explained it. "My tongue, doctor? Seriously?" But when I told him that the tongue is filled with nerve endings connected directly to the brain, and that each conscious movement sends intense signals to the areas that regulate speech, comprehension, and recall, his expression softened. I saw his eyes fill with a glimmer of hope as I demonstrated the exercise. Sitting with your back straight and your mouth slightly open, stick your tongue out as far as you can and hold it for a few seconds. Then, move it to the right side, as if trying to touch your cheek, and then to the left. Next, press your tongue firmly against the roof of your mouth for a few seconds, alternating between pressure and relaxation. And finally, rotate your tongue in circles inside your mouth, first in one direction, then the other. In total, this whole routine takes about 30 seconds. Do it twice to complete the minute. Charles, who had been struggling to find words and would stop mid-sentence because he'd forget what he was about to say, began to notice changes. "Doctor, yesterday I had a full conversation with my grandson about his school. I remembered the names of his friends. I even told him a story from when I was a boy. I haven't been able to do that in months." This exercise is a game changer for anyone who feels like words are getting tangled up on the way out. Imagine for a moment that your brain is a large house with many rooms. Over the years, some doors get stuck, and some rooms are left in the dark. With these exercises, we are systematically opening windows, flipping on light switches, and reconnecting spaces that seemed lost forever. And now, for something very few people know about. The fourth exercise involves your ears. Yes, your ears. It turns out they aren't just for hearing.
Deep within the ear is the vestibular system, one of the most important systems for balance, spatial orientation, and the body's overall state of alertness. It's directly wired to your brainstem. Maria, a patient from Miami, came to me with constant dizziness. She couldn't walk without holding on to something. Her family was terrified because she'd had several falls. In the U.S., falls are the leading cause of injury-related death among adults aged 65 and older, so this was no small matter. When I taught her the ear massage, she thought I was joking.
But I explained that when this area is stimulated correctly, visible changes occur. Coordination improves. Dizziness decreases. Hearing can sharpen, and the mind becomes clearer. The exercise is simple. Sit in a relaxed position and hold both ears with your hands. First, gently pull them upwards and hold for a few seconds. Then, repeat the movement, pulling gently outwards to the sides, and then downwards. Finally, massage your earlobes and the outer edges of your ears with small circular motions, as if you were drawing circles with your fingers. In just 30 seconds, you can feel your ears warm up, your face relax, and your mind begin to clear. Maria couldn't believe it when, 3 weeks later, she walked into my office unassisted. "Doctor, the dizzy spells are gone. I can go to the grocery store by myself again. My family is amazed."
And by the way, if you know a buddy, a father, or a brother who's been complaining about brain fog or unsteadiness, do them a favor and share this video with them. You could seriously change their day-to-day life. But the most powerful part comes now. Because you can do each exercise separately, or, and this is what truly makes a world of difference, you can combine them all into an integrated sequence that lasts exactly 1 minute. It's like conducting an orchestra. When all the instruments play together in harmony, the music is transformed. I remember Carmen Lopez, 80 years old. When she first arrived, her memory was severely impaired. She spoke slowly. She was unsteady on her feet. She couldn't find her words, and her neck was incredibly stiff. She had all the symptoms at once. She looked at me with deep mistrust and said, "Doctor, do I really have to do all of that? It sounds too complicated for me." And I understood her hesitation completely. 5 different exercises can seem overwhelming. But when I showed her how she could blend them all into a single, seamless, 1-minute routine while sitting comfortably, something in her expression changed. She started with doubt, but she decided to try. I walked her through the routine, step by step. Seated, she began by moving her toes up and down while slowly turning her neck from side to side. Then, she opened and closed her toes while moving her neck up and down. Next, she stuck out her tongue while gently stretching her ears upwards. She moved her tongue from side to side while stretching her ears outwards. She pressed her tongue against the roof of her mouth while pulling her ears down. And finally, she rotated her tongue inside her mouth while massaging her ears in circles. All of it done gently, without rushing. Just 1 minute. 3 weeks later, she returned to my office. She walked in with a firm stride, spoke with clarity, and had a smile I hadn't seen before. She told me, "Doctor, you're not going to believe this. Yesterday, I remembered the phone number of a friend I hadn't seen in 20 years. And I called her. We talked for an hour. My daughter says I'm like a different person." That is the power of activating your entire brain at once. Because when the whole system is stimulated, the body responds, memory illuminates, and life feels clearer. But wait,
because there are 3 secrets that can make your results come even faster. The first secret is incredibly simple. Drink a glass of water before you begin. You might not know this, but our brain is about 80% water. When we're properly hydrated, our neural connections function better. Circulation is optimized, and the effects of the exercises are multiplied. A single glass of water a few minutes beforehand can be the difference between a mild result and a profound improvement. A patient named Fernando confirmed this for me. "Doc, ever since I started drinking water before the exercises, I feel like my mind switches on faster. It's like the difference between starting a car on a cold morning versus when the engine is already warm." And he's right. Hydration prepares the ground for everything to work better. The second secret is to breathe deeply while you perform the movements. Inhale slowly through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which reduces anxiety and pumps more oxygen to the brain. This type of breathing doesn't just relax you, it literally turns on parts of the brain that were in low power mode. It's like opening a window in a stuffy room to let in fresh air. And the third secret, which I discovered almost by accident with a patient named Esperanza. She always did her exercises while listening to her old Frank Sinatra records. One day she told me, "Doctor, when the music is playing, everything just flows better. I feel more motivated." And she was absolutely right. Music activates areas of the brain associated with pleasure, motivation, and memory. Doing these exercises in a pleasant environment turns that 1 minute into a moment of total well-being. But just as important as what you should do is knowing what you must avoid. There are 3 common mistakes that can sabotage your progress without you even realizing it. The first is doing the exercises too quickly, as if it's just another chore to check off your list. Remember, the brain thrives on calm, deliberate action. If you rush, the effect diminishes, and you might even feel a bit dizzy. A patient named Alejandro learned this the hard way. "Doctor, the first few days, I did them super fast just to get them over with, but I didn't feel a thing. When I started doing them slowly, like you taught me, that's when I started to notice the changes. Now I actually enjoy it. It's my minute of the day." The second mistake is forcing your body to the point of pain. It is completely unnecessary. These are gentle movements that require no strain. If you feel any discomfort, stop. Listen to your body and treat it with kindness. A woman named Louisa wanted to stretch her neck to the absolute limit, thinking that more strain meant more gain. But that's not how this works. Gentleness is the key. When she understood that, her results skyrocketed. And the third mistake, and this is the most common one of all, is a lack of consistency. So many people try it once, feel good, and then forget about it. But the brain loves repetition. If you do it every single day, even for just 1 minute, the changes compound. Your memory strengthens, your mind clears, and your body regains its equilibrium. Raphael explained it to me perfectly. "Doctor, it's like watering a plant. If you do it one day and then forget for a week, the plant dries up. But if you give it a little water every day, just a little, but consistently, the plant flourishes." That's what happened to me. After a month, I noticed changes. After 3 months, my family couldn't believe it. Look, here's the bottom line. While you're sitting there, wondering if this will really work, there are thousands of men your age who are already reclaiming their mental clarity. Men who thought it was too late, that their brain was on a one-way track downhill, and who are now living with a sharp mind, remembering things, participating, enjoying life. Carmen is now playing memory games with her grandkids, and she's winning. Michael has that spark back in his eyes that his wife missed so much. Robert sent me a picture from a cruise in Alaska with his wife, celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. He wrote, "Doctor, thanks to you, I can actually enjoy this trip." I remember every moment, every conversation. It's like living my life all over again. They all have one thing in common. They decided not to give in. They decided that age is just a number and that their brains still had plenty to offer. And they were right. Because the brain is the most extraordinary organ we have. It can regenerate, reconnect, and revive. It just needs the right stimulation. So, what are you going to decide? Are you going to keep blaming the years? Or are you going to take control? Are you going to keep accepting forgetfulness as normal? Or are you going to do something about it? The choice is yours. But let me tell you something. Your brain is waiting. It's ready to respond. It just needs you to take the first step. Imagine yourself 3 weeks from now, waking up with a clear head, remembering names, dates, entire conversations, actively participating in family gatherings, walking with confidence, speaking with fluency, being that vital, engaged person you've always been. This isn't a fantasy. It's a real possibility, and it's just 1 minute away. That first step can be today, right now. Not tomorrow, not next Monday. Today. Because every day that passes without stimulating your brain is a day lost. But every day you dedicate that 1 minute is a day gained. It's an investment in your future, in your independence, in your quality of life. You don't need anything special. You don't need to spend any money. You don't even have to leave your house. You just need to sit down comfortably, take a deep breath, and begin. Move those toes. Gently turn that neck. Use that tongue. Massage those ears. 1 minute that can change everything. If you've made it this far, it's because something inside you knows you deserve better, that your mind still has so much to offer, that it's not too late to get back that clarity you miss so much. Listen to that voice. Trust it. Start today. And in 3 weeks, I want you to come back to this video and tell me how it went in the comments, because your story could be the next one I share. The next inspiration for someone who is right where you are now, doubting, wondering if it's worth the effort. And yes, it is worth it. Your mind is worth it. Your life is worth it. You are worth it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving yourself these few minutes. And thank you for not giving up. And remember, your brain isn't giving up. It's waiting. It's ready. All it needs is for you to say yes, that today is the day, that this is the moment. 1 minute a day to reclaim years of your life. So, what are you waiting for? And before you go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because in our next video, we're going to tackle the 3 biggest diet myths that are secretly harming your brain health. You won't want to miss it. And always remember, while these exercises are powerful tools for your well-being, they are not a substitute for professional medical advice. Always talk to your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider about any health concerns. Now, go get started.